Welcome to Healthy Lifestyle with Lorianne. I am Lorianne Casdia. Our goal here at Healthy Lifestyle is to inspire, educate, and empower you to fulfill a healthy, emotional, spiritual, and physical life so you can feel empowered to live the life you've always wanted and dreamed. Welcome to the show. I hope you're having a great day today. I know I'm having a good day. I'm sure our guest is as well, or will soon, because we're going to have a lot of fun together. I am a life and business transformational success coach, illuminating and empowering others to find and embrace their life purpose, live their highest vision, and forge a strong foundation to soar to success. And find more information out at ldcstrategies.com or loriannecasdia.com. In the meantime, our guest today, I'm so excited. She is a dream sister. She was also an author at Women Who Dreams, of Women Who Dreams. Let me just hold up my book right here. Ooh. So she is one of the authors as well. And Linda Yang is an experienced, innovative healthcare technology leader who shares her experiences in hopes to inspire others to pursue their own dreams and passions. Sounds like we're in alignment. As a mentor, speaker, and a #1 international bestselling author, whoop, whoop, Linda enjoys imparting tools that has helped her overcome challenges, gain self-awareness, and find meaningful purpose in a professional career. She's also an advocate for encouraging women to explore a career in information technology. And with over 15 years of experience with many reputable healthcare organizations, Linda continues to lead an example as one of the top experts in her industry. Through her website, positivescope.org, you got to check that out. That's positivescope.org. Linda's goal is to provide everyone access to affordable and results-driven strategies that would enable each person to reach their full potential. Positive Scope offers educational resources as well as strategy sessions and speaking engagements. Welcome to the show, my friends.
Oh, thank you, Lorianne. I'm so excited to be here and to have a conversation with you. And it's great that we are dream sisters, co-authors in the #1 best-selling book, Women Who Dream.
That's right. In what? Six countries.
Right.
So very, very excited about that. So I'm sure you were too. We were all like shocked that happened like that, right?
Oh, most certainly. This was my first experience publishing a book. And so it was an amazing experience. And it really just was much more than what I could have imagined.
Yeah, really, really good stuff. So let's talk about Women Who Dream. Your chapter is called Dreams for Generations. Tell us about that.
Yes. In that story, I share about my parents' experiences as refugees of the Vietnam War, and through their perseverance as refugees, they came to this country not knowing the language nor the culture, and they persevered through that to give me a life in order for me to have an opportunity to dream and pursue my passion, pursue my dreams, and make achievements for generations to come. My chapter, I talk about the things that I've learned, investing in oneself, and how when I invest in myself, or when anyone invests in themselves, whether that's self-care, whether that's investing in personal and professional development, through those achievements, it could have a positive, lasting impact for not only them, but for the whole family for generations to come.
Yeah, without a doubt. I love that you reclaim your dreams. Talk about reclaiming your dreams and what your process is to that, because I love that. I pursue them. I'm a visionary, so I help people pursue their dreams. But how does one reclaim your dreams?
Sure. As people go through transitions in life and the different seasons that they encounter through their life, the different stages, the different phases, right? People may lose track of what their dreams are, and reclaiming the dreams, it comes into play when maybe someone loses track of their dream because it's not in their season at the time. But having that dream on top of their mind, and be constantly thinking about how they can pursue their dream and not just let it fade away. is something that is very important for anyone, living in today's world, where living a healthy lifestyle is important, but living out your dream is also core to being healthy.
And having a dream. And the cool
Most
thing
definitely.
with our brains is when we put things out there like dreams or visions, the really cool thing with our brains is it starts to solve the problem. Our dreams come from here, it's our heart center, and then our brain starts to solve the problem. So by keeping it top of mind, doesn't that elevate the brain to find the solutions? Because have you ever had a conversation where it's like, I was just thinking about that, and all of a sudden, bam, something was there to help me derive or get to what I was just thinking about. Has that happened to you?
Oh, most certainly. I think a lot of times, because I'm a mother of three, right? And thank you. And so, and in my motherhood journey, there are a lot of situations where, there's not a manual on how to parent, right? And so there are challenges with raising two little girls and one little boy, and there are things where situations where I just don't know how to handle growing children, and sometimes
also different. It's like,
right.
It's the same parents, but they're all so very unique, which is the coolest thing, is that we're supposed to be unique and be genuinely ourselves. But that requires different parental tools, parenting tools,
right,
for each of them, because not all, tools work the same.
Exactly.
That goes for following your dreams, coaching someone, or having children. I know my two boys are extremely different. So what works with one does not work with the other.
Certainly, each one has their own set of personalities.
Yes. Yes. I
Yeah.
like that you say set of personalities too.
They're still discovering themselves, right?
Yeah.
And who they are. So yes, that's very accurate.
Yeah. What's the best story you have about raising three children?
The best story I have is my eldest daughter is 8 and she's in elementary school, and my second daughter, she's in kindergarten this year. And I'd say the best story is when I hear my 8-year-old share about her experience as a kindergarten at elementary, and she says, there's not going to be nap time anymore, and you're going to get to come home at 2 in the afternoon, and we get to ride the bus, and we'll get to sit with each other. But if you want to sit with me, you'll have to let me sit by the window. And so just hearing them talk about, talk about their excitement of starting school, and I'd say just being able to grow up together is I think just amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. It's nice to have someone. Are you a single child, or do you have brothers and sisters?
I do have brothers and sisters, and I'm actually a twin. So I have a twin sister.
Oh, so
And
cool. You get cooler every moment.
Thank you, Lorianne. But my twin sister and I, we're the eldest in our family, and we have there's 5 of us. So we have 2 brothers and then a young sister, the baby of our family. But I share that in my story of that I wrote with the Women Who Dream. I shared that because my parents were refugees, we did grow up in an environment where we relied on government assistance, right? And so I think that builds character, and it helps us deal and overcome some of the challenges that we have to live through and face as adults as well. Again, I go back to how my parents persevered, and I learned that value and that trait from my parents because I've seen some of the things they had to overcome. And so when I see
some of the challenges, I don't mean to interrupt, but you had mentioned challenges, and I don't want to let that go. What kind of challenges did you face? Because I think sometimes we're so pampered here in the United States in a lot of cases, that we don't even recognize that some challenges actually exist. So I hear a lot of whining, and we'll call it whining, from many people over things that you're just like, seriously, there are people handling way worse situations, and we need to always keep that in perspective. So if you don't mind, could you share?
Of course. And I'll share an example from a challenge my parents faced is they didn't know English, right? And so their first jobs in the United States were as farmers. And that requires waking up extremely early in the morning, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock a.m. in the morning to start their day at the farm. And they couldn't afford childcare. So I remember growing up, before starting school, I would go to the farm with them and just sit and wait for them and play with mud piles, right? Because that was my source of entertainment.
Right.
And then for me, some of my challenges that I've learned to overcome is, when there are hardships or situations where maybe I've have difficulties at school, or problems with challenges with learning and picking up material throughout school, and even challenges with racism. I remind myself that it's okay, because within this country, not everyone has the same opportunities. And I'm one of the lucky ones to be able to grow up and be born in this country who has the opportunity to dream. So those are some of the challenges that I face. And one story that I share in the book is that growing up, my twin sister and I, we would share one egg. And the reason why we did that is because, again, we relied on government assistance. We grew up poor, and we had to make a dozen egg last the entire week for our family. So those were some of the challenges that we are faced with. So now when I face challenges today, or there are things that I just don't feel like doing, right? I reframe my mindset and remind myself that, hey, we're living in a first world country, and we have opportunities to dream. So there shouldn't be anything that we shouldn't let anything hold us back.
Yeah, without a doubt. I totally understand that. Having a strong constitution develops. You have to develop that strong constitution so you know who you are. So no matter what someone says or thinks of you, it doesn't really matter. It's none of our business what anybody else thinks anyway. But we have a strong enough constitution to understand who we are. So things like that don't bother us. And I remember, to your egg story, I remember back when I first was married to my husband, we had $1 between us for the week, and we had to figure out how we were going to eat, how we were going to do this and go to work, the whole 9 yards. And it was challenging. And I'll never forget that. I actually still have the $1 on my bulletin board in my office to remind me where I was, to remind me where I am today, and that everything is possible. Anything is possible if you put your mind to it, your effort to it, your energy to it, and that you have endurance, like your parents. Your parents made a choice to come here and would do, became farmers in order to support their families so that they could be here, right? So they could give you a better life. Right. Same with my grandparents. My grandfathers, both of them came over from Italy. And, they wanted to give a better life to their children, who gave a better life to me. And hopefully I'm giving a better life to my children. We always want better for our children, right? Right. So that paying it forward, that reminder. But it's important for us to remember that we are, no matter what stage we are in a financial status, that we are very fortunate, no matter where we are, because we're not dealing and contending with some of the atrocities that are out there and some of the really big hardships that are out there, right? And that's why we can dream and we believe in it. We just stay in it. But dreaming isn't just, sitting there daydreaming. And we talk about that in the book in various levels, right? It's not just daydreaming. It's deciding where you want to go, what you want to be. And that's what you did. You dreamed. You really took that challenge and dreamed for generations, like your parents. You dreamed. They had a dream for you, and you're passing that on to your beautiful children, right? What does that feel like? Right. Talk to us about that.
Sure. And Lorianne, I can share that just the fact that I spent time to write my story and be part of this book, it has inspired my daughters. And my 8-year-old, she knows how to read and she knows how to write. And so she saw some of the materials that I started out writing, right? In the beginning, it was free writing. And so she read those materials. And it inspired her to want to write her own stories and write a book as well. And so that kind of domino effect of me living out my dream, showing my children how to, inspire them to live out their own dreams, right?
Yes. Yes, that is beautiful. Yes, because as a role model, we show them what we can do. We show them anything is possible. And you did it. You really did it. And I'm sure you jumped some hurdles of fears doing that too. So how do you shift through those fears and challenges into unseen opportunities? Because that's what the fears are. It's the unknown that we get a little nervous about and antsy about. Now I'm so comfortable being uncomfortable that I don't really get antsy about being unseen fears, because generally I make up catastrophic ones in my head as opposed to anastrophic, which are positive outcomes. I think of the worst case scenario. That's how I was raised. Make sure you protect, blah, blah, blah. But now I just look at it and go, okay, head on, let's do this. Let's do this. And it sounds to me, you had that same approach. Let's just do this. I don't know how, I'm not sure. I've never done it before. Me too.
Yes.
How do I do this? Right?
Yes, I think one of the greatest lessons I've learned I became an adult is it's important to network and to get to know people, right? Because you never know the dreams and aspirations of others, and a lot of those could align, and you can help each other. You can surround yourself, right, with a group of amazing women like the 30 co-authors we have in Women Who Dream,
Yes.
or even developing a professional network, right? In the healthcare technology industry, there are just so many professionals out there who are experiencing the same challenges. And it's great to collaborate and network with them to learn about these opportunities. And I learned about the opportunity with the Women Who Dream project through one of my life coaches. And I would have never I would never be aware of this great project if it wasn't for her. So it's that networking. It's a very powerful tool.
Well, I also really believe that universe, source, God, however you've heard it, your higher power, definitely intervenes to put people in our path to allow us to pursue those dreams, and definitely that transpired for you. I love that you inspired your daughter, and that you continue to inspire through the actions that you're taking, and you noticed and recognized these opportunities and took it. That's a leap of faith, to jump into something you've never done before and just go with it, and just go with the ups and downs of it. I know it was a emotional roller coaster for me. That I'm like, what am I doing? Why am I doing this? This is crazy. Yes. But the message for all of us, I think, and I don't want to speak for you, but I know the message for me was so important to get out there. If you're going to just help one person, it was worth the roller coaster ride that we took. What do you think?
Yeah, most definitely. And one of the last message that I do leave with readers is that hey, embrace the opportunity to dream, right? And embrace it, because it's an opportunity in itself to have dreams.
Yeah. And how's the best way we can really use dreams? There's some people I know, they're like, well, I don't do dreams. I don't even know what that means. I can't even relate to that. I was like, what do you mean? You don't do dreams? Like, you don't dream to have something, you don't aspire to do so. How does that work? So
for me, I look at dreams. My perspective is that use your imagination, right? Yeah. Right. It's boundless. It's your imagination on how you perceive your future. Where do you want to be? What do you want to do? How do you stay inspired and happy? Right? Being inspired, staying inspired through your own imagination. You create that reality.
Without a doubt. But some might say to me, and I'm thinking about a friend of mine, some might say to me, well, I'm a realist, so I can't dream. Oh, you can be a realist and dream, right?
Yes. Oh, most certainly. Because, but my perspective is, I can just stick to being a realist, but God, that'd be so boring without some imagination placed in there.
Peppered in there. We got to salt it up, right? And gosh, wouldn't it be nice if, and how can I do this? And it's something that makes me passionate, right? So I can't imagine life like that. it would be boring. I like the way that you said that it would be boring. I find it intriguing that you're in healthcare, and the second half I want to speak to you about and let our listeners hear about what you do in healthcare, and that you're in IT. I think that's amazing that you're in technology and that you help others in technology. So you are listening to Healthy Lifestyle with Lorianne, and we're here with our good friend Linda, and she is going to join us again, but we're going to take a short break. We will be right back. Lifestyle with Lorianne. I am Lorianne Casdia. Our goal here is to help you improve your health, increase prosperity in business, developing a business marketing strategy, nurturing spiritual growth. You are always in the right place when you're listening here to Healthy Lifestyle. We are always bringing guests here that help you shift your mindset, harness your talents, and we can help you do that too. We are a result-based approach of shifting mindset, achieving your goals in business through personalized strategies. And the reality is life and work. Oh, there's my pot. Life and work do not intersect. They are absolutely coordinated. So we help guide you and transcend into true leaders with our proven method. But if in the meantime, if you would like to be a guest on Healthy Lifestyle, please reach out to us at healthylifestylewithla@gmail.com. Welcome back to Healthy Lifestyle with Lorianne. I'm so glad that you're joining us again. I would like to say to you, if you want to be a guest or lift up your business, your product, your non-for-profit, or if you just have questions and comments, feel free to email us at healthylifestylewithla@gmail.com. That's healthylifestylewithla@gmail.com. And whether your goal is improving your health, increasing prosperity in business, developing a business and marketing strategy, or nurturing your spiritual growth, you're in the right place. I will help you shift your mindset, harness your talents, remove resistance, and rise above your limitations. And speaking of rising above limitations, we have our great guest here. Linda is here to enjoy us. Linda Yang. She's here to talk about how she is one of my Women Who Dream sister authors, and her chapter is called Dreams for Generations. So if you have our book, please turn the page. It's a good read for Dreams for Generations. And we were talking about the fact that your parents, Linda, came here from Vietnam, I think you said, right? And that you're bringing up your daughters and your son in this area. In the United States, and it's really we're very lucky and fortunate in the United States, without a doubt. But what you do is amazing. What do you do in healthcare? Help us know a little bit more about you.
Yeah, Lorianne, thank you for that wonderful introduction. And I am very excited to be here to share kind of my experience in the healthcare IT field, right? Because oftentimes when we think about healthcare, we think of the doctors and the nurses and the people at the bedside caring for patients. But
magic behind the scene to make all that happen.
most certainly. And it has become more and more important. And as in recent times is the technical field, the IT field, that really is the powerhouse of the operations for any hospital, any healthcare organization, right? Nowadays, as patients, I'm sure when we walk through the hospitals or even at the doctor's office, we see that computer, right? We see that those tablets that the doctors and the nurses are using, or even when we go into to check in and register. So all that is wrapped with the IT department at a healthcare organization.
Yeah. Making sure all of our charts are together and all of our information is contained and protected. So we have a lot of things called HIPAA laws that make sure that we have privacy and that information gets shared. I think it's amazing how technology really ramps up our ability to get healthcare, proper healthcare, make sure that the information from before, and I love the fact that they always check, do you still have these allergies? And that for me as a patient, it always it makes me recognize recognize, oh, you know that. Okay, that's good. So we have a connectivity there to know, okay, we're all on the same page, and you do the magic behind the scenes to make sure all of those operations work and the procedures work, and they're able to send the notes over to the doctors or the notes over to the PA. I know my brother is a doctor and he has a bunch of PAs, and he uses his IT department, and it's like the resources are amazing. What's your favorite part about what you do?
I think that my favorite part is making sure that it's operational, right? Right, because that definitely drives and impacts patient care. I really think that the past several years with the onset of COVID, it has certainly made the progression towards digital health and the technology space of healthcare to ramp up. Right at this point, hospitals and healthcare organizations, even in the outpatient setting, they are making sure that they hit all of the regulations that are coming forth, and that's certainly very important. In my experience in the past 15 years, at one point, hospitals were just implementing EHR records, right? Those electronic healthcare records. And that's really how I got involved in healthcare IT. Because I think at that point, I still had the perspective of healthcare being only doctors and nurses.
Yeah. So I love that you have that new perspective. But I find it interesting that you're in IT and yet you're speaking about dreaming and things like that. And even with medical and health, people have limiting beliefs, right? Right. So let's just swing back for a second. And how do we break through limiting beliefs? Limiting beliefs that it's only doctors and nurses, limiting beliefs that we can only do this, that, and the other thing, limiting beliefs that we have to be a realist and we can't dream. How do we work through that?
Oh, that's an interesting question, Lorianne. I think in my perspective, healthcare in general, because patients are so used to seeing just the doctors and nurses, that's the first thing that comes into mind, right? But I think we're transitioning into a phase where IT, the technical field, is engrossed in everything that we do. Right. It's there at the stores when we're checking out. Now we do self-checkout. All of that is wrapped up into technology and information technology. And
to make it faster, right? Faster, more
right.
efficient. It's supposed to be, that's what our goal is, to make it faster, more efficient, and not utilize maybe human power to do something a computer could do, so that human power can do something that's more only associated with humans, right?
Right. And certainly technology is there to enhance the process, to make it more efficient, to automate as much as possible. And, also help remove some of that human error that could occur. Right.
Yeah. That's why they write on us, right arm.
Right.
Okay.
Exactly.
Good
Making
job.
sure it's the right arm.
Yeah. And they recheck, they check back in to make sure, and they're checking with the data that they have on the computer that they're looking at. And to me, it's amazing. I mean, I always say, unless it's in the little box, I don't do it, because if it's not on my schedule, I don't know what I'm supposed to do. And to be able to, I don't like repetitive tasks at all. So I use my computer, I use my system, I use my IT people to fix this. It's like, listen, it's repetitive. I'm doing the same thing. Is there any way we can automate this? So automation is really important, and I find it very intriguing. So what you do is I'm like a geek at heart. So it's very intriguing to me what you do and how you look at things and say, okay, this is what happens. And it's not easy what you do, because you have to look at what's happening, observing the standard operating procedure, and then give it a methodology so that you can then put it into the system so it works. I was recently in a local hospital, not for me, but visiting somebody else. And I watched this nurse have this technological meltdown. She's like, I just can't get it. And a person like yourself came running to the rescue and were like, all you need to do is this, this, and this. And then I love this part, because I do it too, they said to the person, just write it down. This step, this step, this step. It will never change. It will always be these 3 steps. And she was like, okay. And then later, because I was there for a long time later, she was doing it again. She goes, yeah, I got this step, this step, this step. So,
Right.
see, so when you have that brilliance behind you, it's really enjoyable to watch the process be empowered, right? And through empowerment, we gain fulfillment, right?
Oh,
So
certainly.
yeah, yeah. So and that's what you do with your chapter, Dreams for Generation. I think you really empower people to have those dreams and to embrace them and to follow them.
Sure, most certainly, and I see there is a gap within the healthcare technology area where there are a lot of just male figures in these professional roles, right? And so something that I advocate for and I really encourage around is women advocating for women to take a look at some of these career pathways.
Yes.
Um, exactly right. And although the field may be dominated by male figures at this point, there is a lot of organizations who empower women to pursue these fields because we're good at it, right? Not only that, but it's always helpful to have the individuals who are at the forefront of these developments to kind of mirror and reflect the patients or the population that are utilizing these services. The doctors and nurses as well.
Yeah, yeah. And that's why we have the STEM programs out there to really
Mhm.
empower young women to get into the field. I think women are fierce in this field. No offense to men. I think they're fierce too on their own right. But the thing about women is we're very detail oriented and we can multitask only because inherently we're used to taking care of the kids and doing the cooking
Mhm.
and doing. So we have to do 12 things at the same time because one, there is not enough hours in the day to separate it all out. And two, when we bring those tools into the workplace, when we bring those tools to computers, it just makes sense. It really makes sense. And we're very, some might not see this, but we are very logical beings. We have a lot of emotions, but we are very logical beings. And that intellect is important. So it doesn't matter male,
Mhm.
female, it just matters that it's something you're passionate about, and you are clearly passionate about IT and helping the health area expand and be better at what they do and take some of their antiquated procedures and really bring
Mhm.
them up to speed. I mean, I've seen some amazing things. We live by Stony Brook University, and I've been able to have the good fortune of going in, seeing some of their science that they're doing, the being able to operate and practice operating with the robotics that we have here is
Mhm.
mind blowing. This is not sci-fi. This is not a movie. This is real
No.
stuff happening, and that's all run by technology. That's all a program written
Mhm.
by IT.
Oh, most certainly, most certainly. And these things, they happen remotely as well, right? Doctors can be in a different location operating these robotics, holding the surgery at a separate location. So
How crazy is
these
that?
are not right. These are not sci-fi movies anymore. It's happening now today.
How
Mhm.
how crazy is that? Give me an example of like something that just blew your minds when you were just like, I can't even believe we're doing this. Like you want to pinch yourself and say, is this really happening?
Oh, well, this is very simple. And it's one of my very first encounters that really intrigued me is being able to predict if a patient is going to miss their appointment. Right. It's so simple,
Stop
but
it.
we can
How?
we can actually predict and have a percentage on how likely a patient will miss their appointment.
And
Yeah.
how does one predict that?
There's a lot of data science
Now I
and
want to mess with your algorithm. No, I'm
right,
kidding.
right. There's a lot that goes in it to determine this percentage. But because we are able to percentage the likelihood of this, we have proactive action to call this patient to ask the necessary questions on, do they have the transportation? Is there something else that may cause the delay or them to miss their appointment? And so proactive action can happen because we're able to gain this knowledge.
That's amazing. So you text them, you follow up, you make
Hmm.
sure that, yeah, when we feel taken care of, we're less likely to just blow it off. It's like, oh, they're expecting us. We don't want to let people down. So with that follow up and that technology, that's amazing. That is
Right. It's
so
so simple, but it's critical to patient care.
Yeah, I'm one of those people that you'd have to follow up with. I'm horrible. I'm just terrible. I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. It's no problem. I recently broke my wrist, and the doctor had to follow up. It's like, you need to come back. I need to see it again to make sure you're okay and that
Hmm.
everything is fine. I was like,
Yeah.
fine. You know? So
Yeah.
yeah. So people like me keep you in your job. You're welcome. So it's really cool. I love your
Mhm.
passion that you have. Where did you get this passion?
Oh, wow. I think it stems from my parents because quite honestly, it took a lot of sacrifice for them to relocate into a country that they didn't know anybody here. They don't speak the language or know of the culture. And they jumped right in. They built a whole new life for themselves and the family that they had here, including me. They had so much passion to just want to live, right? Because they came as a result of war, right? They came as a result of just death and chaos. And they wanted to live a life where they had the potential to thrive. And that passion was obviously passed down to me because I want to be able to live with passion, follow my dreams, and pass that on to my children.
Well, clearly you're doing that. We can see that and hear that today. It's just amazing. I know when my two grandfathers came over here, they had that same passion. They didn't speak English at all. They
Mm-hmm.
spoke Italian. When they came over and the time, the people were like not really loving Italian people. And so, they had a lot of hurdles to jump,
Mm-hmm.
but that didn't stop them. They learned the language, took their licensing tests in English so that they could do their career and raise
Mm-hmm.
their families and have this free life that we have to do what they want and live in peace and calm and harmony and do
Mm-hmm.
what they love and have a family and have a good life and find the joy. So I think it's everybody's passion to live a good life and find the joy.
Mm-hmm.
I really think that we also have to understand that there are sacrifices that are made. And I know my grandparents made sacrifices, and I know my parents made sacrifices. And I'm making some or have made some sacrifices for my kids. And, so that's just will trickle, it will go down.
Mm-hmm.
But if we all just got together and stopped the nonsense stuff and
Mm-hmm.
really got
Right.
together and did all these positive things, can you imagine how amazing this world would be? Because we all have success right pre-coded into us. We all have the
Mm-hmm.
opportunity to reach out and strive to be better than wherever we're put in. And there are lessons we're supposed to learn while we're
Right.
here. So I love that, you have this bright, beautiful smile. You can tell that you love what you're doing. Dreaming for generations really was a beautiful homage to your parents, and I recognize that
Yes,
as well.
thank you.
It was
Yes.
really beautiful that you captured that and that you role modeled for your daughters, that and your son, but mostly your oldest daughter is at that ripe age where that
Mm-hmm.
creativity comes in and they start thinking about what they want to be like. So you're such a
Right.
good role model. I'm so honored to have you here. I can't even articulate it properly, but one of the questions I love to ask my guests is, what's your why?
Mm-hmm.
Why do you do what you do? We know why you're passionate, but why do you do what you do?
Yeah, I believe it stems back to the fact that I'm a first generation born in my family, and there are some challenges that first generation individuals face that nobody else, no other types of generation really encounters, right? Whether that be just having a hard time breaking the cycle that you've seen,
Yeah,
right? Because
you're
you
bridging
don't.
past to present, right?
Exactly,
Yeah, yeah.
exactly. And part of that for me is breaking into the professional world because my parents, they worked on a farm and then they worked in factories. They didn't have a white collar job and they didn't go to college, right? And so just that first step of the mindset shift into I can do these things regardless if anybody I know did these or not, right?
Yes, yes.
It's very powerful. And so I want to be able to offer some of these resources and tools to people, kind of in the same boat that I'm in, whether that be first generation born in the United States, first generation to break addiction, first generation to break abuse, or whatever it may be. It's just the first generation to do something awesome, and
Yeah.
anyone can do something awesome.
Yeah. Well, and it's the reason why first generation is so hard is you don't
Yeah,
have that role model that a second and third
exactly.
generation would.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I had the role model that my parents, they did what they needed to do to make sure that we, lived and thrived. They took risks. They really worked really hard, and they set us up with these really stringent self principles that allowed us to have the fortitude to just keep, doing and not blaming, not making excuses, but doing, finding a path, finding a way. So I love that you do this. I love that you were able to, and still do, no doubt, bridge between what was and what is, because I'm sure there's language issues that you contend with. I know my grandfathers used to speak to me in Italian, and I'm like, yeah, I got nothing. So, and they would, cobble it together with the cute little accents that they have. But that's what we do, and how to, like, why we have the traditions we have, and some of them are just wildly bizarre to other people. So I want our listeners to think about, what would it feel like for you as a human to go to another country you know nothing about?
Right, exactly.
No, don't know the language, don't understand their culture, know nothing about it, and go in there. What would that feel like? What would that look like? And then remember that when we meet people that we haven't met before. So I've been very fortunate. I've been around a lot of different cultures. It just doesn't, I'm intrigued at everybody's cultures, but the only difference I see between humans are good humans and bad humans. Other than that, I really don't see a lot of differences. So it always amazes me when people react very scared, and their scared reaction is to push people away from them. But that's not very inviting to our guests coming into the States, right? Into our country. Yet when I go to Italy, I know that I learned their language out of respect, and I was speaking Italian over there. Actually, in one place, they gave me a compliment and said they thought I was from there. They were speaking Italian to me, and they were speaking the English to the people behind us. And I'm like, could you just tell us what you just said? And they were like, oh my God, we didn't know. So that was a compliment. But out of respect, I learned their language, but they would speak English back to me, and I was just like, no, I need to learn your language. I'm in your country. So I want to learn all about your culture. And which is my culture. It's my historic culture. So it was beautiful. But thank you so much for being on. Thank you for being who you are. Dreams for generations, and women who dream, you superstar, you really helping people jump those challenges, reclaiming their dreams. And how can people get in touch with you if they want to get in touch with you?
Yeah, they can check out the website, positivescope.org, and reach out to me that way, or just email me, lindayang@positivescope.org.
Positivescope.org. We definitely want to see people hit that. So check out Linda Yang. She is unbelievable what you're doing. Your Dreams for Generation. We'll love to have you come back. Give us an update of where you are in your journey. And also when your daughter finishes writing her books, let's bring her back on too. Let her do this interview as well. So I thank you again for being on today. Thank you all for joining us today on Healthy Lifestyle with Lorianne. I know you have a lot of choices, and it really, really touches my heart. Thank you for making us your choice right now, because you could be spending your time anywhere you'd like. I want to again thank Linda Yang for being on
Positivescope.org.
Positivescope.org, right. And if you're looking for a business coach, accountability strategy, direction, a sounding board, someone to help streamline your business or more, or you're not sure what you want to do, feel free to reach out to me at 516-983-3591, or let's see if there's a good fit, or reach out at ldcstrategies.com, and I certainly can help you soar to success. Thank you again for joining us on Healthy Lifestyle with Lorianne. See you next time, next Saturday, 3 p.m. Until next time, play a higher role, serve a higher purpose, show up for you, and what? Show up